G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach, providing SuperCoach content for you. I'm here to present Jump On, Jump Off, heading into round 11. And I am joined by Brad from SuperCoach Pro. And I believe that you have an exciting announcement, and I'm super thrilled for you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Yeah, I just had a son. He was born last month. I just didn't make any announcement, but yeah. So his name's little Zeph, Zeph, and yeah. So it's exciting news, mate. So it's definitely a game changer for sure. Hence some late uploads and not being able to get some things done on time. But yeah, always good, mate.
Well, congratulations, mate. I'm super thrilled for you, and I wish you all the best being a dad. And I'm sure all the viewers are super excited for you. And yeah, and all that. And as well, I do apologize that we couldn't do it together last week on, Jump Off. It was just myself, but we've got Brad back. I had some personal issues, as I said last week, to deal with, so won't go into detail about that. But we're back for Jump On, Jump Off. So I hope everyone's excited. And the number one most traded out player, and oh boy, this is a conversation. I already made a whole video on it myself on why I'm holding Clayton Oliver. So I'll just get into it. It all just in a quick summary. If you want to check out like my full reasoning, then watch that video as well. But look, it all depends on. It's all team dependent. So let's just keep that in mind. It's all team dependent on if you need to trade him, if you can afford to hold that sort of thing. So I think I don't know, if you're 10 plus K rank and you're like, all right, I need to try to make a charge to head in, to gain some ground on some of these people that are actually holding Clayton Oliver, then you can certainly do that and just risk it and that sort of thing. So I think Oliver, it's all team dependent. It's really hard to say jump on, jump off. It's real team dependent. So unfortunately, I'm going to be boring and sit on the fence. I'm not going to give an actual answer. You just got to look at your team and you got to see what your gut says with your team. So yeah, I don't really have a definitive answer. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I've got a definitive answer in a different way. If I'm top 1,000, I'm trading him out to keep in the top 1,000. If I'm outside.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. If you're also inside the top 1,000, I think you trade.
Yeah. Apart from that, I'd actually hold. Like you've probably mentioned in your video, over the buys, you're not really losing points with holding him if you've got enough premiums on field. And the other thing is how you're going to bring this bloke back in at 660. The other only reason we're talking about off air is if you got a Clayton Oliver plus a rookie that's over 350k or roughly like that, then you can get two premiums for him. But my long story short is I'd be holding Clary unless you're in the top 1K, mate. So yeah, on to the next one.
Yep, of course. Yeah, it's very team dependent, and I think, yeah, I mean, worst case scenario is back in 4 weeks. Best case scenario, 1 or 2 weeks, that sort of thing. So you're just banking on him being out for a bit longer if you're trading. Number two, Sam Simpson. He is 250k. He's made 84k, which I don't think is enough, and it's a bit disappointing. So he's got that really good buy, but if he doesn't play, then that is a bit of a concern. I think for me, if he plays, I think he's a hold. Just because he's going up against the Giants. One bad game we saw with like Darcy Wilmot scored a 39. He's made a lot more money, and that's a lesson learned for next year. Certainly hold rookies for a little bit longer if need be. So I think Sam Simpson, and also as well, if he doesn't play, you can always trade him out next week if you feel more secure in getting Wardlaw and Ford when they've had their second game. So I think Simpson's a hold, to be honest, because even if he does play, you know, he's going up against the Giants. One bad game, he could deliver a solid score. If you especially if you're holding Oliver and you need a field of rookie. So I think he's a hold. What do you reckon, mate?
I think his break even's pretty low on a 20-ish. If
No, it's
he's
pretty
out,
high. It's on 59.
I'm probably trading then. I think if you can get an early upgrade, I'd trade him out. But if you need to, you could hold him. But I think, like you said, he hasn't made enough money. 85k is not much. But if you're getting a cheap primo like I am for him, I'd definitely sideways for a value primo. But apart from that, mate, like you said, a lot of these players are actually really team dependent. But personally, I think he's more of a trade than hold for me, mate.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like, I guess in my situation, I'm holding, so I guess I'm a bit biased that way. Now, number three is Alex Chincotta. Well, I mean, if he gets you a premium and you know you've banked enough money, then I think you can do it. But I really don't think he's that far away from getting back into the team, to be honest. Like, it, I remember watching the Carlton Collingwood game on Sunday after watching the Hawks absolutely spank the Eagles very comfortably, and it was very enjoyable to watch. I saw Sam Doherty in the third quarter, I believe, just grab his hamstring a little bit. And I just think maybe there's a little more. I mean, I think Carlton have released their injury news, but maybe that's one to keep an eye on with Sam Docky. So probably a reason not get him in as well as that bad buy. But I think Chincotta, he's really like, in my opinion, the 24th man. And I think Carlton are pretty healthy. They usually don't stay healthy. I think he could come back in. I think Jordan Boyd's a good player, so I don't think he'll come back in for him exactly. But I think Chin Cotter can come back in one or another. So I think I think he's a hold. Like he could get back in the team. What do you reckon?
I think he's a hold until the round 15 bye, but I think he actually does fight for Boyd's spot. So if Boyd gets dropped, he's coming in for Chincotta. That's what I personally think. But I just think his scoring capability is more than some of these rookies that we're already seeing getting culled. So I'd probably hold until he gets named, and then if in round 15 you don't got enough players to field, then you chop him there, mate. So for me, it's actually a clear hold.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Number four, Ollie Hollins. I think this is a pretty clear trade. Um, he's made his money, 120K made. He's been a solid rookie, all in all. So if you started him over like a Cam McKenzie, that was actually the right move. But yeah, I do think he's a trade because there's every chance he gets dropped. He's been sub back to back weeks. So I think he's a clear trade. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think the subverse really spells out that he must be getting pretty tired, mate. So I traded him around a fortnight ago. I think it was around 295 ish for then. So I think he's definite trade for me. I just don't think he's going to spend enough minutes on the pine from here on out, at least till the buyers. So for me, it's definitely a trade.
Absolutely, mate. Now, Ruben Jinby, I actually haven't checked his break even. 39, he's going up against Essendon. I mean, we've seen that he can score a ton, but there is real inconsistency. And I'm not really sure if you want to hold inconsistent scoring out of a rookie at this point of the year, especially if you're holding Oliver. I think he's a trade. I think he's a trade. So I'll jump off on Ruben Jinby. I think he's getting a little bit tired himself, as he said, with Ollie Hollins. I mean, his job security is pretty good, just considering the amount of injuries West Coast have. But he looked really poor against Hawthorn. I barely saw him much of that game. Just didn't really get involved. And I think that he's really showing signs of slowing down. So I think he's a trade. What do you reckon, mate? He's a jump off for me.
I think I'm looking at it differently this time. I'm a hold purely. You guys smashed West Coast by 100 points. So what sort of rookie is going to score anything over 50? The other thing is he scored 100 the week before, and I didn't get that score out of him, so I'm a bit salty. And I think he's very up and down with his game. So I think it'll be a much closer game between West Coast and Essendon. So his break even being 39. I think if you're loopholing this play in your defense or midfield, especially if you're holding Clary, I think he's a hold. But if you need the cash, I'd get rid of. But overall, I'm actually weirdly enough saying hold Gimby just because of his ceilings there. Whereas these other rookies don't have the ceiling to get past the 300K ish mark, whereas he does have that extra. All he needs is another one, and then score another decent score after that, and then he's gone up to 380, and you're laughing. So I actually think he's a hold for once, mate.
All right, fair enough. I mean, West Coast might only lose by 90 points this week. Now we head into Samson Ryan, 71 break even. I think he's a trade. I think Nank's back. You obviously know about him more than me, Brad. But for me, I think he's a trade. I think I didn't watch much of the Essendon Richmond game, but I did hear that he spent most of the time as a key forward. Now with Nank back, so I think he is a trade, and I think it's time for him to jump off. But being a really good rookie, a bad miss in my book. So yeah, I think he's a trade. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he's a trade too. Being a Richmond man, he just didn't get the hit outs that he did the previous weeks because of Nank returning. And he's a really bad key forward, to be honest. Like he either marks him and goes really well, or he'll just not get anything for 3 quarters. So yeah, I mean, I missed the boat because I didn't never trust Richmond rookies going for Tigers. We just don't play them for long enough. But the role was there. Clearly, Nank was injured for longer than what I had thought. So I think he's a cull now. Um, so yeah, I'd definitely jump off Ryan unless Nank gets injured during the week. But I don't think that'll happen, mate. So yeah, definitely jump off as well.
And mate, also before we head into the next bloke, just a quick summary on what your thoughts on Damien Hardwick quitting. Obviously, very sad time for your club. He's obviously a club legend now, and just second best coach of all time, probably for Richmond, behind Hafey. But what are your quick thoughts on him?
Yeah, put me on the spot here. Well, mate, I was born in '91, so all throughout high school and primary school, Richmond were just really shit house. And yeah, then a few years ago, all of a sudden, you could sort of see the change happening and the players he brought into the club and just the list development and the love that the players have for this bloke is enormous. And yeah, to hear those rumors last night, I was just hoping they were rumors. And man, I actually teared up hearing about him, go through what he went through. And the media sort of do ruin some of these coaches and players and the things that they say. And there's only so much you can take. Like he always backs our players. He backed Coleman Jones, the kebab store at that time over in the Gabba, and then backed Dusty throughout all the Chinese chop drama and crap like that. And you can see the love that the players have for this man. And honestly, I'm not being silly. I reckon he actually deserves a statue at Punt Road for making Richmond relevant again, because all throughout high school, Richmond weren't relevant. We were laughing stock, ninth this, ninth that. And he made members come back to the game. He made the fans come back, and we lost all our debt because of him. So he turned that club around. And oh, mate, I'm shattered he's gone, and I'll probably speak a bit about it on my channel more. But yeah, on spot, he's just like an absolute Richmond man, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens for the rest of the season with Richmond and his future for goings. And yeah, I wish him all the best. And mate, I couldn't be any more grateful seeing the flags that I've seen in my year, in my mid 20s and so on. So he's done an enormous work for the club, and I'm so bloody proud of him, mate. I couldn't be happier for what he's done for the club. So I have no saltiness whatsoever. He's delivered 3 flags, and as a Hawthorn man, you can appreciate how many flags you've seen already. Like it's just ridiculous, and they don't come by very often. So it makes me just really appreciate everything he's done, mate.
Yeah, that is very well spoken words. Like I felt pretty similar when Clarko went in 2021 when that got announced, but obviously this actually feels a bit more um, heartwarming. This because it was a bit of a sour ending with Clarkson. This certainly feels a lot more heartwarming. He's done so much for the club, and yeah. Anyway, we got a video to catch up on. So, but great words, mate. Number 7, we've got Oscar Baker. He's been a good rookie, and I think got rid of him for 258,000. I think that's a lesson learned for next year. I think I've got to hold rookies for a little bit longer, but I think at 292,000, what you're going to get from him each week. 48 break even, could make a tad more, but he is certainly a bloke that's not going to make much more. So I think he's a jump off. What do you reckon?
Yeah, he's a definite trade for me too, mate. I'm so done holding him. I'm actually getting rid of him this week. So yeah, he's a trade out.
Yep. Now, these three, I don't think we need to speak much on, so I'll be pretty quick with this. Number 8, Jacob Hopper, still there for another 3 to 5 weeks. If you didn't trade him, trade him. So I think he's a jump off. What do you reckon?
Yep, jump off. Yep.
Number 9, Connor McKenna. You probably should have got rid of him a bit earlier. Been really disappointing with Rich and Coleman out of the side for a little bit there, but I think he's a jump off. What do you reckon?
Yeah, get rid of Conor McGregor.
Anyway, number 10, Will Setterfield. Get rid of him, please. Like he's out till after the bye. Get rid of him. Jump off. What do you reckon?
Yeah, jump off. I think Joe from Centre Bounce calling him a settle goat is jinxed him and cursed him. So yeah, jump off Settlefield.
I disagree with that. I reckon what's cursed him is all the blokes jumping on him at round three. He turned to shit after that.
Yeah, dude, I started him and then
And you
watched it.
you started him as well. Everyone jumped on, including me, and that turned him to crap. All right, now we are going to talk about the most traded in players. Number one, George Wardlaw. Um, I'm not a jump on here. Uh, I think we were talking a bit off air about this. If you're going to jump on a player early, I think it's Eddie Ford. Just due to George Wardlaw's hamstring history, he's just, yeah, he makes me a little bit nervous, and it wouldn't surprise me come game 5 when we've got him in our side and he pings a hammy or gets an injury. Very talented player, but I think there's a little bit of danger with this pick going a bit early, like we saw with Drury. Drury was the perfect example why you don't go early on a rookie. And I think for sure, I think Wardlaw, I don't think he's a jump on for me. What do you reckon? But definitely next week.
Yeah, well, if you hadn't have told me about his injury history, I would have been a jump on. So knowing the history, I'm a hold for one more week. Only because he's elevated price at 193. I don't
Yep.
mind going early 123k player or 100k player, but not a 193 player, mate. So definitely not a jump on this week either.
Going up against Collingwood as well. So there's every chance he could drop a 50, but that probably wouldn't matter. We would still bring him in. Number 2, we got Eddie Ford. I think he's a jump on for me over Wardlaw if you're going to go early on a rookie. But for me, like, I'm not going to go just yet, like we've seen with Drury and all that stuff. Like, it could turn pretty badly. So I think Ford's a jump on. He scored like 102, something ridiculous off the wing. Like you told me, I thought he was playing key forward. I was watching most of that game as well. Should have paid more attention, but it spent most of the time on the wing. So I think he's a jump on if you want to go early on one of these rookies. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think he's a jump on if you go early on a rookie too. He had 21 possessions, 8 of them were kicks, so he's a bit more handball friendly. So he probably won't get 102 every week. But yeah, his heat map, if you have a look at it, it's all the wings. So I like it, and he's been in the system for a few years. So I'm actually going to go early on him this week, mate. So I'd actually jump on if you needed a rookie this week that you don't feel comfortable getting any rookies on the bubble this week. So yeah, jump on.
Yeah, fair enough. And I'll just me and you will give quick thoughts on Cam Fleeton. I'm a bit more higher on him than you. But I actually quite like him just due to the injuries in the GWS backline. He's a few years into the system. I mean, we were talking about how not good of a option that Josh Weddle was, and look how he's gone. And Cam Fleeton actually has a lower break even. So, but GWS rookies, I can understand. So I would, yeah, I'd jump on actually. What do you reckon on Cam Fleeton? He's not on the list, but just quick
I wouldn't go
thoughts.
Flinton purely looking at scores. He's the 247 scores or whatever around there. But then you look at Angwin, Rouston. None of the Giants rookies have really scored anything over 50 average, so I don't love it. And it all seems like they're all sort of been rotated. And I don't know, man. Like I know he's got really good job security, but I just don't like the scoring. And GWS rookies are really bad in general. So I'm a no go for the Bubble Boys this week.
That is fair enough. Now, at number 3, we do have Zach Merritt, break even of 76. Decent chance this is the lowest you're going to get him all year. I do think he is a jump on for sure. If you're looking to trade out Oliver, or if you have the luxury to upgrade this week, then just keep in mind with all these blokes, with all these premiums here, just keep in mind on your buy structure. But I think Merritt is a very good jump on. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I actually bought him in last week with Ben Hobbs and Captain Merritt. So I think he's next to is West Coast and North Melbourne. He's got a better buy than the Carlton boys. So I'd jump on, like you said, it's going to be his cheapest for a little while this week and last week. So yeah, I really like this pick, mate. Even if he does get tagged this week, I just think he's good from here on out anyway. So and he always has good back end of the seasons, mate. So definite jump on for me.
Yeah, absolutely love Zach Merritt. And at number 4, another Zach. We've got Zach Butters spelt differently. So 620,000. He obviously had probably one of the best performances that we've seen this season individually. He was just immense. I'm not sure if you watched the Friday night game, but he was just unbelievable to watch. He's going to be a great young player. Port have got a ridiculous future midfield for the next 10 years. Like Butters, Horn Francis, Rosie. There's no reason to put any of them out unless they're injured. So Butters does scare me a little bit. Like he's a bit of a kamikaze. He just runs into the stoppage uh, with no regard for human life. Like it does scare me a little bit, but you can't deny the talent. You can't deny how he's been this season. I mean, he's just been immense. So I think I don't think he's a jump on though at that price. Like, and with that bad buy, probably try to, because we've seen that like every player can drop. Like, look at Noah Anderson. He was at 604K, drops in absolute stinkers, young bloke as well. And yeah, you just look at that, and if anyone went Noah Anderson, I think they've learnt their lesson and maybe not go Zach Butters and keep in mind with their buy. So I don't think he's a jump on this week. What do you reckon?
I don't think he is too. And purely, I love the point that you said about Noah Anderson. Look at Tim English, people bought for 660. Jordan Dawson, everyone was screaming about going nuts. Now his break even's higher. So all these players will have 2 or 3 good games in a row. Everyone jumps on after their good scores. And then they come back, 50, 60 grand cheaper anyway. So for me, I think you've missed a hot patch after Richmond. I think he'll still go nuts against us. But I think after that, he's got the bad buy, like you said. So I wouldn't jump on for this price. I reckon you can get him a little bit cheaper. But if you've got enough cash and cash is not a problem, yeah, go for it. But for me, at that price this week, I'd rather value picks like you Merritt last week, etc., that can match the same output for 60, 70 grand less and upgrade you somewhere quicker somewhere else in your field, mate. So it's a no for me.
Absolutely, mate. I do agree 100% with that. Now at number 5, we have got Rory Laird at 597,000. I think he's a jump on as well. I'm gonna, similar to Merritt, like these two are just fantastic options this week. So instead of going on a spiel about Laird, like he's a really good option. If you had to pick between one of Laird or Merritt to get in this week, who are you picking, Brad?
Merritt, because he doesn't really have any injury worry at the moment. Laird keeps getting subbed out. And the only reason he didn't get subbed out last week is because Hinge got sub vest. So for me, Merritt's a lot more safer to stay on the park for 4 quarters of footy, whereas Rory Laird has been subbed off a few times, mate. That scares the crap out of me, mate. So I'm not even a jump on for Laird. I'd wait for his bias just until he sort of recovers a bit, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I'm going to be honest. I disagree with that because I think they would have managed him in the last quarter. Like they were down by like 40 points in the last quarter, and they didn't bench him. So I disagree with that. I reckon this could be the lowest price that he is all year. It looks like he's back, firing better than ever. Well, not better than ever. Definitely don't think he's getting to that height of last year, but I disagree with that. I reckon this could be the lowest price you get him all year. So I actually prefer Laird over Merritt because
Really?
Merritt could get tagged. Yeah, it's bloody tight. It's bloody tight. Like both, you can't go wrong with either in my book.
Yeah.
So at number 6, we've got Jack Sinclair, and I think he's hmm, I. It depends on your buys. Like if you've got a Luke Ryan, a Jake Lloyd. But other than that, I think you can jump on. It's a bit different if you want to jump on with like a Neil or a Sarong when you already have a Steele and whoever else, a Brayshaw, because Sinclair is really the only guy that will probably be highly owned with that round 12 buy, and he'll help you a fair bit because he's the only one with that round 12 buy other than Luke Ryan, I guess, who's in the top 8. So I think he's a jump on. I think he's a jump on, even though he's got one more week till his bye. I think he'll do pretty well against the Hawks this week as well. So I would jump on. What do you reckon?
I'd jump on. I think, what's his break even at the moment? Do you know? Is it pretty low?
83.
Oh, it's not too bad. Actually, I'd wait till after his bye. I thought it was a lot lower than that because if he's 160, but he's scored a few 60s recently. So, yeah, maybe just wait till his bye, mate. So, no point bringing in a guy that's got a round 12 buys. It kind of doesn't make sense, does it?
Yeah, I won't lie. I didn't know his break even was that high myself. I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you could probably get him at what, 550,
Yep.
560K next week. So I think, yeah, I've changed my mind. I don't think he's a jump on just yet. Just wait till his bye.
Yep.
Number 7, Bailey Humphrey. I think if your team allows it, I think he's a jump on, just because I think he can make quite a lot more money, but more importantly, he's going to play throughout those buys, and he's going to be a massive factor for you throughout the buys. At 285,000, that doesn't matter. He's going to play throughout the buys. If you've got a really bad buy structure, Bailey Humphrey could save you, and he could be your last upgrade to a premium. The one bad thing would be is if he scores a bad score, yeah, it might slow things up a bit. So jump, I would jump on, but team dependent this one. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this one. For me, I don't like paying up for rookies. I still think he gets to 400,000. So I want to make downgrades and upgrades faster. So I'd rather go early on a forward and know they can make 200 grand like that pretty quickly. So I don't know. It's really team. I think if you've got really bad cash generation and you need fast cash gen, you jump on and take the risk. But if you've got enough cash gen, you don't take the risk. So I think it literally just comes down to how many dead rookies you have. And if you need to field this guy for a week, then yeah, sure, bring him in for a cheap price. And I just feel a little bit scared of this pick. I didn't realize he plays the Dogs. So I think the Dogs generally for rookies anyway, rookie midfielders and stuff, they don't normally score that well every time I've watched a rookie versus a Dogs player. Um, so I don't know. I'm really torn between that one, mate. So I'm sitting on the fence for once.
All right, fair enough. And at number 8, we have got Lockie Chalky Neal at 561,000. For me, he's not a jump on for me. I'm waiting till his buy. So I guess similar reasoning to Sinclair. The only reason why I said jump on for Sinclair originally was because he's really the only reliable defender with that buy, defender premium with that buy. Neil, there's a fair few. There's every chance you've got a Sarong, you've got a Brayshaw, you've got a Steele, that sort of player. So I think he's a wait till his buy. Even though he's cherry ripe for this week, he might just have to pay a tad more next week. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I would hold off to after his buy as well. I just want to see one more good score out of him too, because he has dropped a few poor scores. So I'd wait 1 week just to see if he is back. So yep.
Fair enough. And at number 9, we have got the Rising Star nomination, future Hawthorn superstar Josh Weddle at 230,000. Just kidding, but hopefully he has a great career. But at 230,000, I guess you're saying to yourself, can he make 150K from here? Because that's kind of what you're hoping for here. The ship might have, what's his break even? -47. All right. If you want to save yourself 55K on Humphrey for a bloke who has a pretty similar break even, and I think his role's a lot better now with Blank in the side. And to be fair, Sicily's role is a lot better with 2 key defenders in the side and him as the third tall. Weddle's the halfback pushing up. He's about a kick away from the stoppage. So I'll jump on if Bailey Humphrey's not cutting the mustard, to be honest. So I think he's a jump on. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, there's a bloke all preseason now. I believe his name was SDS SuperCoach saying Weddle, always got to start this bloke through preseason. So based on that pure fact alone, he's a jump on, mate. -47. He looked really good. I watched some highlights of him and thinking, wow, he looks unreal. Yeah, so I would jump on this guy, physically and supercoach wise. No, just kidding about the physically stuff. But yeah, I think he is a good buy, mate. And I just think for 230, you're 50K shy of the Bailey Humphrey thing, mate. So, and I think he's actually not a bad loophole option too, as well. So I'd jump on for sure, mate.
And I've said this a couple of times as well, where I feel like a lot of times this season, and a lot of super coaches this season, where we just feel like we're 5K short, 10K short of the perfect move for our side. And most of the time, like for me in my instance, that felt like a lot of the case this season where I just, oh, it's so close, but I can't quite get there. So the 55K is massive. 55.5K is massive. So I can totally understand. So I would say Weddle is a better pickup than Humphrey this week. So
Yeah.
reluctantly. All right. Lastly, we have got Caleb Sarong as 2.4% of bringing him in. I really like him. I think at this point now, if you didn't pick up Brayshaw this week, Brayshaw is now 572,000. It's just an extra 40K to get Sarong, who looks like he's going to average 115 for the rest of the year. Like the way it's going, bar the first, bar the first game. Uh, let's have a look at his scores while we're here. Like, look at those scores. He's gone ton. He got tagged here. Look at those scores. Ultra consistent. Seems like the number one man in that Freo midfield. I think he is a not jump on this week, but next week, I think he's certainly a very nice option. So I really like Caleb Sarong. I wouldn't jump on him this week, though. What do you reckon?
Oh, I'm controversial. I'd actually jump on him this week because remember, midfielders against Melbourne score really high. Anderson, and then the week before, who's just gone? Anyway, there's a couple that they've shown a stat. I don't know if it was Fantasy Freako or something like that, saying that Melbourne leak massive points to midfielders. So I'd actually jump on Sarong at the moment, even Brayshaw as well. Maybe he's back from that injury, it has cleared up a bit, but I actually like the Sarong pick for 612. I know it's a bit steep for a primo, but don't mind it, Steve. Is that a weird one?
Yeah, because he literally said Lockie Neal's not a jump on because he's got that buy. And then
He's got the same buy as
Sarong and,
him.
yeah, Freo have got the same buy.
Oh, I smashed the photo frame. That was a bad idea, Steve. I didn't
He's
realize.
broken a photo frame over Caleb Sarong, ladies and gentlemen.
That's why you give me that dirty look. I'm like, what have I said? Have I said something wrong?
Yeah,
Okay, well then maybe hold because that buy. Sorry, Steve.
you didn't know Freo had the same buy, bro.
I forgot. I don't have any Frio players, so I don't look at Fremantle at all.
Yeah, fair enough. And just
I
keep
forget
in
they're even
mind,
relevant.
and just keep in mind as well, we were talking off air as well. If Freo are playing better footy, I think it's more beneficial for Brayshaw for sure. But Sarong will just keep going. So, yeah. Well, we haven't done this for a while. Did you want to do our tips? I don't even know where my
Give us
phone
any
is.
tips. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what score you're on? I'm on 59. Just I'm looking at the SBN tipping site, and I'll just assume I'm on 59.
I think I'm on 60.
All right, so you're one ahead. So you made a little comeback there. All right, so Sydney Carlton.
Sydney.
Yeah, I've got Sydney as well. Bloody tough game to tip though. The
Yep.
way Sydney are going. St Kilda Hawthorn. I've got St Kilda.
Killed it by 100 points.
Back to reality for the Hawks. Um, all right. Melbourne Freo. Melbourne.
Yep, same.
Geelong GWS. Geelong.
Yep.
Gold Coast Dogs. Dogs.
Yep.
This is easy. West Coast Essendon. I'm going Essendon.
Yeah, I'm going Essendon.
Um, Controversially, I'm going Richmond this week against the Port. What do you reckon?
Mate, we lost against Essendon, so we're not beating Port Adelaide.
New coach bounce. New coach bounce. McQualter's coaching this week.
I think if it was Dimmers last week, would win, but I just because Dimmers immediately gone, I think it'll be too much emotional toll on the boys, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll take a punt.
Yeah.
Collingwood North. I'm shit at tipping by the way this season, so I might as well take a punt. Collingwood North. I'm going Collingwood.
Yep, same.
Collingwood home game to North at Marvel. That's very interesting. And Adelaide versus Brisbane. I'm going an upset. I'm going the Crows at home. What do you reckon, mate?
The Crows at home. Both Adelaide teams really look good at home, and I never tip Adelaide's at home, and they keep doing it, so it's really annoying.
Yeah, fair enough. I tipped Adelaide when they beat the Saints, but I don't know why I'm tooting my own horn when I'm down by 1 point against you. Anyway, yeah, look, they'll probably do it. They'll probably do us. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you, Brad, for jumping on the channel. Of course, good to be back together doing jump on, jump off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, before we go too, if you guys want to check out Shorty Supercoach, he just uploaded a goal kicking competition where you can watch me try to kick snags. I won't give it too much away, mate, but the wet ground, I'm a back pocket, so you don't expect too much from Supercoach Pro. I'm more of a Muay Thai kind of guy, so check out the vid on his page anyway.
Sounds like excuses to me, but anyway, yeah, yeah, definitely do check that out. I was gonna mention that, but I did forget. So thank you, Brad, for mentioning that. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers. Bye.
Have a good one. Cheers.